A new CIA assessment on the origins of COVID-19, rising tensions in the South China Sea, and China's critical struggle to restructure its economy. We begin with a topic of global impact. The CIA has released a new assessment suggesting that COVID-19 likely originated in a laboratory in China, marking a shift from previous positions of insufficient concrete evidence. This report has reignited the debate over the origins of the pandemic that devastated the world and caused over $100 trillion in global economic damage. With an alarming tone, the document highlighted that both the laboratory origin and natural origin remain plausible, but new evidence tilts the balance toward the first scenario. The investigation faces challenges, especially due to the lack of access to initial data in Wuhan, something that Chinese authorities delayed in the early months of the pandemic. And the international response? Some leaders, such as Republican Senator Tom Cotton, demand accountability from China for the damages caused. On the other hand, Beijing labels the report as politically motivated and lacking credibility. What we know is that this new stance could intensify tensions between the United States and China, potentially shaping future geopolitical disputes. Meanwhile, conflicts in the South China Sea escalate daily. The Philippines, strengthened by its relationship with the United States, is preparing to file a new international arbitration case against Beijing. The accusations include environmental damage and illegal exploitation of resources in disputed waters. The United States, in turn, has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting the Philippines through the Mutual Defense Treaty. Additionally, strategic military maneuvers such as the repositioning of U.S. missile systems in Philippine territory send a clear message to Beijing. The region will not be left unaddressed. What makes this even more alarming for China is its current inability to effectively neutralize these military threats. Beijing continues to insist on its sovereignty over the South China Sea and condemns U.S. external interference, warning of potential regional destabilizations. Finally, we arrive at a critical point: China's economic future. For decades, Chinese growth has been driven by massive investments in infrastructure, manufacturing, and exports. But now, this model has reached its limits. Overdeveloped highways, railways, and cities are saturated, while global demand for Chinese exports faces growing barriers. The solution? Boost domestic consumption. Despite China's per capita GDP growing tenfold over the past 4 decades, Chinese citizens remain cautious savers. Consumption accounts for only 45% of GDP, far below the standards of developed countries. Weak social safety nets, limited pensions, and high healthcare costs leave citizens insecure. Cultural legacy. Decades of the one-child policy created a savings mindset in preparation for the future. Low wage growth. Economic policies have historically favored businesses, leaving workers with less disposable income. Beijing is now trying to change this outlook. New measures include state subsidies, wage increases, and greater social spending. But experts warn that these changes are merely temporary solutions. Without structural reforms, such as income redistribution, expansion of public services, and investments in technology, China may struggle to achieve sustainable growth. At the same time, the real estate market, where much of Chinese household wealth is concentrated, remains stagnant, further restricting consumption. Meanwhile, the government seeks to position the country as a leader in cutting-edge technologies like semiconductors and artificial intelligence. But this long-term strategy requires significant investments and could take years to yield tangible results. Why does this matter? China's struggle to balance internal demands and global ambitions will shape the country's economic future, and perhaps the world's. Will Beijing manage to find the balance between stimulating domestic demand and pursuing technological dominance? This is a question that will define the coming years. So, what do you think about these changes? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you very much for watching another episode of China Insights. Stay tuned, because tomorrow we'll bring more exclusive analyses,